Oh, looks like we are on. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Streamline Podcast. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and I'm going to continue on with my worst films ever list. Still got probably about enough movies on here to do about three more. Counting this one, two more, and plus I was supposed to, done this the other day, but work. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get on with this, and can't wait to get to talking on this. To start it off, I'm going to say Scary Movie 5. I like the first two Scary Movie movies. The third movie was alright, but that's when the whole trend started going downhill. My problem with the Scary Movie 5 is the comedy was way too blatant, which is one thing I hate about spoof movies, is sometimes the comedy is too blatant. It's not clever. Really, none of the original cast come, but I'm not the one to say that the original cast should be in every single movie. But for what we got, it was alright, but there was really nothing memorable about any of the actors. They were just there to just basically get a paycheck. But Scary Movie 5 sucked. Although there was one or two funny moments, I will give it that. Still sucked overall, though. And probably is one of the worst spoof movies I've ever seen. But hey, even a bad spoof movie can be funny here and there. In this movie right here that's about to be on the list was bad, and the reason why I was pissed off about the movie was the fact that it could have been better. Last year, the 2017 movie, The Great Wall. In The Great Wall, there was this white guy and this Hispanic guy who end up coming across the Great Wall, and when they end up finding out is that the Great Wall is actually a barrier separating China with basically the rest of the world from this group of aliens that basically eat everything, and they end up getting pulled up into the war. Now, as great as a concept as that is, and as awesome as some of those action sequences were, which I'll give it that, the action sequences and like the costume design and stuff were like freaking awesome. Give them that. But the problem with the movie is it's not a Great Wall movie. It was a Matt Damon movie. None of the characters in this movie get really any moments. Matt Damon is just kicking ass and taking names. Even the Hispanic guy that was with him, it's like they're supposed to be a team, but you don't see that. You see Matt Damon. Talking about this freaking movie got me yawning. The problem with it is like Matt Damon just pretty much overshadowed everything. He overshadowed the Asian characters. He overshadowed the Hispanic guy. He overshadowed the freaking aliens. Just every scene that this guy was in, he just completely overshadowed. And I can understand when they started kind of having backlash about the movie being, a white guy ends up coming to save the day and all of that. I can see where people would have an issue with that, because that's what the movie felt like. You got this whole army of Asians who've been fighting this menace for, thousands, like 100 years or whatever, or a few generations, and this one white guy come up there and starts kicking ass and taking names. He killed more of those things than just like more than any single person did in this entire movie. And it felt like he killed more of those things than the whole army did at times, because he was so proficient at it. You'd think he would actually fought these things before. But then the Spanish guy didn't do really nothing. So it was one of those movies, like if they took Matt Damon and the Hispanic guy out and just focused actually on the Asian cast, it would have been a much better movie. Much better. But that's really my problem. And kind of, I didn't like the fact that the creatures didn't have different variations. It was only like 3. And if they'd have varied it up a little bit, it would have been much better. Kung Fu Panda 3. I like the first two, especially like the first one. But my problem with Kung Fu Panda 3 feels like it's lazy. Like it's a lazy attempt to continue the franchise. Now, it's an interesting idea. They got this dead warrior from the spirit realm who ends up absorbing all these souls and using that power to come to the real world to, I guess, revive himself. And then he starts absorbing the powers of all these other fighters. Look, I don't mind the souls of the other fighters. I don't mind that they went that direction, but my problem is every time there was a fight going to be had, you thought you would think it would be this badass fight. No, all he ever did was just really absorb people. And I'm like, that's lazy. When Crane got a moment to actually do something, all he did was got absorbed. I was like, that's freaking lazy. The fight at the end, it was all right. Could have been better, and it just this one feels very lazy. Yes, you get the little element with the family and stuff, and another thing is they don't really focus on. Yes, it's mostly about Poe's character, but I would like to see the other characters have better moments than what they did. This movie just felt lazy. I'm sorry, it just felt lazy. Another movie that pissed me off from last year, 2017, was the freaking Jeepers Creepers 3. I did not mind the Creeper having more screen time, and the whole day setting was pretty awesome. My problem is almost every character in the movie sucked, and the whole thing was supposed to be exploring his origins. Was just, whoever thought to advertise that should be punched in the throat. There was no exploration of no origins. There was no explanation of his origins. There was literally nothing about his origins in this freaking movie. And most of the characters sucked. The only story that they had in this movie that was like worth any damn was the police and this like group of like civilians was like, okay, we know that this creature is out here, we're going to hunt him down. That was probably the best. That was actually the best storyline. The problem with that was the movie didn't even harp on that story almost at any, like for most of the movie, and which pissed me off. It followed this teenage kid, and it's like, does every one of these Jeepers Creepers movies got to follow a teenage kid? Something like that? Like, no. All of that teenager stuff could have been left out. Or if they wanted to do that, they should have kept it on a better storyline, a better character, and a better family. Because what was it? The grandma was creepy as hell. I mean, her eyes was all white and she looked like she was related to the creeper. I was like, who in the hell thought this was a great idea? So if the movie actually was just focused on these guys trying to kick his ass and this war between the creeper and these guys trying to hunt him, it would have been an awesome movie. But what we got was just, and then don't get me started on this whole haunted truck thing. The truck thing I didn't like. Now him using it, having this like force abilities with his weapons, okay, I thought that was pretty cool. But the whole haunted truck thing was just stupid. I don't care what nobody says. I watched The Shining, and I did not like the movie. First, most of the characters were either they weren't memorable. Well, I ain't gonna say most of the characters because the little kid, okay, cool. The wife, okay, likable. The black dude, okay, he's a decent guy. The husband did not like him right off the bat because it felt like he was an asshole. Yes, he used to drink. Yes, he had issues that, you know, really affected the family. But it's like he did not have to be an asshole in the beginning of the movie so he could, and you know, turn into an even bigger asshole by the end of the movie. Did not like that. Even though I like Jack Nicholson's performance. But I didn't like his character. Also, the whole aspect where the hotel was haunted and stuff and the ghosts and stuff felt random. It's like there was no explanation as to why all this stuff was happening. Like the little 20 girls and stuff. Like, who the hell are these little girls? Who the hell was that guy behind the bar? You know, just they didn't. It didn't feel like it explained enough as far as when they went into the whole possession and the ghost and the haunting and all of that stuff. Just everything felt really random. The whole Shining bit, okay, I can get behind that. I can get behind this. And maybe that's what's manifesting the ghost and stuff. But I'm like, if that's the case, then why was the black guy not experiencing these exact same things when he was there? Because he's got the shine. So I didn't like the movie basically because the ghost felt random, the haunting and stuff felt a little random, and Jack Nicholson's character was a douchebag from the jump. I liked the series a little bit better because his character was actually more likable. But and then the whole haunting thing seemed like it was better. It was better, handled better. So when stuff happened, I'm like, okay, this woman does. Okay, it's a story. This woman got killed, so that's why this woman showed up. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Anyways, Battleship. My thing with Battleship was the whole dome thing. I didn't have a problem with the whole military versus the aliens. Didn't have a problem with. Problem I had was the aliens wiped out most of the military like that. It wasn't an all-out war. That's what I would have wanted to see. Just like these two factions just going at it. That's what I wanted to see in it. The whole thing where the guy's girlfriend and this ex-military guy with the missing a leg and all that, didn't really too much care for it. But I just really wanted to just see an awesome battleship battles between aliens and battleships. And that's pretty much the problem I have with the movie. Rihanna's acting, I didn't think it was terrible as everybody said it was. But outside of that, that's my biggest. And plus, Skarsgård was in the movie for like 5 minutes. That pissed me off. He would have been a much more interesting character to follow. Mercenaries. There's so much wrong with this movie. Most of these chicks, Zoe Bell, Christina Loken, Vivica Fox, can't remember the other chick. Like, I wish they would have did something. It's like Asylum makes BS movies. I think Asylum made this. Asylum makes BS movies. This movie was totally BS. I wouldn't mind, because it was ripped off the Expendables, I think. And I'm like, look, I don't mind a female mercenary team, but this movie should have been done a bit better. The story could have been better. The performances could have been better. The action sequence could have been better. The writing, the dialogue. There was one sequence where this little girl just steals something from him, and there's like a 5-minute chase sequence where all 4 grown-ass women can't catch this one little girl. There was this one part where which everything was pretty much lazy in the movie. Like, the action sequences were lazy. This one woman is literally driving on the back of a damn truck with a sniper rifle, a Jeep, with a sniper rifle. And there's like 6 guys that stand in the doorway, and she literally like just snipes them all. And I'm like, the guys did not shoot back. And I'm like, how did she do that? They should have lit that Jeep up. And the movie just terrible. And the chick who's the bad guy was the sexy woman from that Russian lady from Police Academy, and she was terrible in the movie too. And then I hated the fact that they harp so much on the feminist thing. Like, women are better than men. It's like, no, come on now. You don't have to do that. But I know people like those B-movie type stuff. So, Prometheus. Supposed to be the origin story or / reboot set in the alien universe. No, it sucked. I don't mind the engineers being the starting point for the creatures being developed. But the Prometheus didn't explain shit. I don't care what nobody says. Not in the least. Batman and Robin. Everybody hates this movie. I don't like the movie. I used to love it. I don't like it. For one, the performances, the casting, the characters, the puns. Every line is a pun. There's literally no reason for it to be a pun. And plus, it feels too gimmicky, too child-friendly, too comic book. The good side comic book. That's what it pretty much feels like, a good comic book for like a little 5-year-old kid. And if they'd have made it more serious, it would have been a much better movie. RoboCop 3. Pretty much the story, which could have been worked out a bit better, because I don't mind OCP gentrification and all of that. Yeah, that was awesome. But my thing is, the whole over the top when it was giving gangs the guns, the fight sequences weren't memorable, and of course the Japanese cyborgs, everybody hated those crappers, did not like them. And look, I liked the little kid that was on it, but it didn't make no sense to her, for her to be an expert hacker. It did not. Super Mario Brothers. Do I have to state this? This is not a Super Mario Brothers movie. Look, if they wanted to make a movie on an alternate dimension where humanity was derived from reptiles instead of mammals, fine. I would have been all for that, because it was an interesting setting, and like them being like, de-evolutionized and all that stuff. Like, I could get behind that. I mean, they tried to paint that as a Super Mario movie, and that's what messed it up. Alone in the Dark. I never really followed the games. The movie was, I'm not going to say terrible. Christian Slater he's one of those actors where the majority of his movies suck. But I don't want to say it was him in this movie that made it bad. I want to just say that the writing and the directing did. Look, the best part of the movie, honestly, in my opinion, was the whole special ops, monster special ops group versus the actual monsters. I thought that was awesome. Messed up, they all died, but I thought it was awesome. And kind of the ending. I like the ending actually, but it's kind of like everything that builds up to it, like the man that was experimenting on the kids and all of that stuff, and they had the little monsters inside them. And it's like, if you think about it, it's like if they had monsters inside of them or parasites or whatever those things were, wouldn't somebody have noticed that after a while? I mean, maybe they had the little group or whatever that's behind everything had so much power they was keep track of them. So when they went to the doctor, they got the records and stuff. But it's like, you have a parasite in you, and there's at least 20 to 30 kids that have that same parasite in them. And chances are the hospital would catch wind of it in one of them kids eventually throughout the years. But it's just that if I don't know. Maybe if it was more of a survival horror and less actiony the way it was, it would have been a better movie. Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Stupid on every level. There was nothing good about this movie. No, there was nothing good about this movie. Four young adults end up getting a hold of the Leprechaun's gold. And they were just stupid. They were just dumb. I mean, the main character, and this is what made it so bad. The main character dated a bad boy. They broke up because the bad boy was a bad boy, and they ended up coming across this pot of gold. And she had dreams of being like going to college and being this, I don't know, professional. What she had a career set, right? And they got the gold, got rich. Did she leave and go to college? No, she stayed there and spent the money. I was like, really? Like, that makes sense? Who thought of this? And then most of the friends, the only, in fact, when she did that, I was like, I ain't got nothing else to say about her character. Leprechaun Back to the Hood sucked. The only half decent thing was Warwick Davis, and even that kind of gets stale because he plays, same character in every freaking movie. So if I want to see a good impression of Warwick Davis, I can watch any of the other ones. But all of them are pretty bad, so I don't know what to say. Speed Racer, that movie tried to be too visually good looking. If they had just worked with practical cars, a practical race. I'm not saying it had to be wacky races. I'm not saying it had to be death race. I'm not saying it had to be Fast and the Furious or Need for Speed. But all of that CGI stuff, you're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to make a movie that's like CGI like that. Speed Racer is a legendary cartoon because it's been throughout the years and stuff. But it's not a popular one like that. So, this is a franchise I wish they would redo. Because that first movie, and plus they try to throw all this other stuff in it that didn't really make any sense. The only thing I really liked about it was Christina Ricci. That's it. Texas Chainsaw 3D. The writing was absolutely terrible. The characters were terrible. The directing, the acting, everything about this movie was just bad. This girl gets it's kind of like a prequel / sequel because it does go on to what happened after the events of the first movie with the sheriff and the killer family getting killed. Leatherface survived. One of the kids did survive too, but they were adopted. And even though it takes place like 30 or 40 years later, the main actress, who is the surviving kid, is like 20 years old. So there's like literally this like time jump thing where Texas Chainsaw Massacre happened in the 70s, I think. Well, the movie I think takes place in the 70s. And from how old the girl is, the movie should be based in the 90s, but it's actually based like 2-3 years ago. So it's like that girl should be like 40 years old now. Really, the only thing I liked about this movie is Leatherface just like looked badass. He's this big hulking dude that's like, if you fight him, there is no getting away from him. Like, you can't fight this dude because he's like big and bulky like that. So that's about the only thing I liked about the movie. And like, and the characters, and just, I don't know. It's like somebody who directed National Lampoon or some stuff like that, or Bring It On, or Music High, whatever, High School Musical or something, decided they wanted to do horror. That's what it felt like. This movie was just garbage on every level, and I don't recommend anyone watch it. It's literally just terrible. But we came up on the 20-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and upload another video up after this one, because I got to keep talking about these movies. They gave me a headache, and I'm just trying to just get it on out. My frustrations. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts on this video. Let me know if any of these movies just hurt you. It hurts you the way they hurt me, and how bad they sucked and everything. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on the Narik Chase channel. And remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays we do upload videos, so stay tuned for those. And without further ado, we'll catch you guys later. Narik Chase signing out.